there's even YouTube, and even the Jacksons have come out and say, hey, this ain't our kid, man. But to watch this guy operate, he's operating in pure lunacy. He's like trying to be a member of the Jackson family, and he's not, and he's even saying that he is. This is sometimes very sobering for me. This will seem like a bad analogy, but listen to what I'm saying. This behavior is sobering for me because sometimes I think that everybody is going for the gold in this, trying to figure out who they are, but you have people that are literally running around trying to live as other people, lying about their life, all types of stuff. And now the interesting thing I found still with this guy, though, is that he's very talented. He can write music and he can sing. So what I'm saying here is that, see, if you don't have a blueprint, you're going to see masters and teachers come along here in the future, and they may be talking about one thing or another, and with your own integrity, you could believe that every single person is just telling you the truth because that's how you are. But Geppetto Jacksons exist so that you know that there are folks that they play like they know. And then they can attract certain people around them and start pushing certain knowledge. And let's say, for instance, if you're coming through the space, which could sometimes just be to balance it, if you're hearing something and it starts like hitting you like, well, maybe that's true. I'm here to tell you that there's no maybe for adepts. It's either it is or it isn't. It's so clear when you know the truth and the blueprint. Now, the blueprint's the stars, the blueprint's the language. But to get through that process, well, that's what we're going through now. But I wanted to bring this to your awareness because first, aspire to know the truth. Know that there is a code and it rolls into itself like a wheel and it reveals everything. And then two, always be aware that when you're listening to somebody, learn where that fits right in the code. And if it doesn't, then this is kind of like your check and balance system, your discernment to be able to determine, well, maybe they're lying a little bit about what they think they know. And then you can assess, the weight and the measure of the knowledge that they're giving you. So it's just discernment is very important. So when we go to number 4 and we go to the door, right away you start thinking of a door like the door on your house. Now the door on your house has 4 sides to it. And what I'm showing you is technically a 3-sided door. So this is kind of, to me, the true epitome of this knowledge. Like 3 will go into 4 at some point. But knowing the transition from the 3 and the 4 lets you basically connect the knowledge from the past all the way to the present. I want to bring this up. I want to make sure I articulate this properly. Bringing knowledge from the past all the way to the present. See, back in the past, a door was triangle. It was 3 sides. All the doors in the spiritual, let's say, is 3 sides. But in this reality, the future, the doors have 4 sides. So if you don't know how the door went from 3 sides to 4 sides, and that the original door is actually 3 sides, this is how the code starts kind of getting scrambled in your brain. Now, of course, the modern day occult society, which is delivering this language, delivering the nursery rhymes, delivering all this stuff, where they know much of this story, if not all of it, that has taken place in the stars, that continues to repeat itself. They do restylize, they ad-lib even a little bit, but they never come off course. I don't even believe it can be taken off course. It can only be stretched. So what I mean is that we'll be living in the 4-sided door, just the 4-sided door society, just to confuse everyone that the origin is really a 3-sided door, just to throw the knowledge off back or forward the knowledge will go forward 1 step. But because you missed the previous step, you don't really know how you got here or got to this space. And this is kind of how the knowledge works. I'm going to do my best today to articulate what it is that I found. I'm actually coming here today with something even more vast than what we've been studying so far. It still works in well, but now it's starting to, they're turning up the pressure a bit. They're turning up the level of the knowledge. It's like, you get the next test, and the next test is like super hard. You're like, wait a minute, did I skip a class? And what we're really talking about here is that there's core principles that need to be understood about this knowledge, and that's why this 4 and this 7 exist. And also, on another level, those that are 4s and 7s or that are on these paths, they have access to this power and this potential, and they also play these roles in others' lives. And this goes for all of the numbers. And it also, as a magus, you can evoke any number. So this is what gives you certain powers. Like if you understand the whole coding to the delta or the door or the tetrad, you can make doors anywhere and walk through those doors. So it's like, it gives you this power and ability. Now, first that becomes like a surface level. This is how knowledge, it redundifies on all levels. When you start learning it a little bit, now it may open up a couple doors. Now you're back into a certain relationship. Now you can get back your job back. Certain things, like things that you didn't have access to or things that were locked, now they're open. And this just becomes the beginning, all the way to the point where you're in a dream and you visualize a delta and you walk right through the delta and come right out a 5-shaped door, and you're still moving. Now, here's the interesting part. I want you to also realize that when we start talking about that kind of stuff, that generally happens in what we call the dream. Okay, now, the dream is real reality, but that is a level of perception. Once your perception is so strong, your dreams are now your reality. But before then, when we start talking about the mystical stuff like flying, just so that that doesn't escape your mind like, well, I ain't seen nobody do that, and that's not even possible in the physical. I think he's going on one. Remember that a lot of what I'm talking about, it for sure takes place in the dream realm, and you're already somewhat aware of how to do this stuff. What happens is in the memory or remembering why you did it, how you did it, that's really what this universe is teaching. It's a course to kind of bring you back through the process again to get everybody on the same page. So now, the delta. So right away you can see, you don't have to be an occultist to understand that we're talking about a vagina here, okay? And most importantly, there on the right and the top, what I'm showing you, that area is the Nile Delta. Okay? Now, right away, you can realize that if that's the Nile Delta and is shaped like that, then obviously in that area, there must have been birth. Something must have been born right around that same area where a woman would actually have her canal there. Okay? So also, we can see why this would be referred to as a door, because our entry into this world comes through a door shaped like that. So you'll start realizing the power of this number here as we keep going forward, because you'll see that literally this term forward is a cognate of the door. That when you go forward, you're going into the future. So when you go through this particular door, you come out in the future. And this is very important because there's other kind of doors, and they're not called doors. And they go to what we call the past. Okay? But this device, if you may, goes to the future. It's important to make sure that this knowledge is replete. So now, this is the point where the spirit becomes flesh. Okay, now this is a very important point, because as I was hinting to earlier today in my Instagram build, that there's a point where freedom also has this same hangman thing going on to it. You're going to see this theme to this where every single thing we think is one way. Well, I thought a door was 4 sides. I'm telling you it's 3 sides. Now, I'm going to explain to you how the thing that we call free is the one that we're in now, to the depths, and the one that is beyond. Let's say there's a certain one that is beyond, and it's not what we call free. And I have to explain this. So in an ocean, okay, if you're a drop, now you're made of the same thing. This is the cognate of what the spirit is. You're made out of the same thing that the ocean is made out of. There's nothing different at all between you and the ocean. So when I drop you in that ocean, yes, you have infinite consciousness, but you don't process infinite consciousness as a singular being now thinking infinitely. That's not how it works. When you're dropped into the ocean, you no longer think. There's no thought. You cannot do anything that is outside of what's already being done. This is like a current. You cannot go in the other direction just because you want to. The current is moving and you are the current. Okay, that's the realm of the spirits. Okay, it's important to realize that, let's say the soul. That's the realm of the soul, where it's all one thing. Now, what Gaia has offered, and many other beings that have been granted this power, is the ability to grant, and we'll just use this term today, freedom. Okay? Actually, it would be replete, because this can only take place inside of a dome. This could only take place inside of a realm that is curved and sealed in like the womb is. And in this realm, the level of magic is so high with this particular being that we're calling Mother, that she has the ability to give you a single life. To take you as water and put you into a cup that you're calling your body. And then when you become this cup, which you're calling ego, you can now operate inside of this cup, separate to the things that are outside of the cup, when this is not possible when you go into the realm of the soul. Okay, just to make it very clear, when you go there, there's no single cups, there's no bodies, there's no separation.
Bugs, man.
To give this ability of this level of freedom, you'll see also how dangerous this has become, how people have feared this, have demonized it, how there's a lot of dark symbols around it, but once you decrypt them, you get exactly what is referred to about how this world offers a singular experience, in that because, see, our Mother, so we have it on wax, she's not linear, she's not a line, so she's maintained her ability to be outside of time. That she stretches across all of time. That's what they see, like a serpent. And they're referring to her stretching across all of time. So what this means on the esoteric level, though, is that the Mother still has this ability to jump through time and never die. And so she grants that ability to her children. And you get it anyway, like you die and you get born again. But where you go, in the condition that you're in,